Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And today, I think we have a lot of interesting news to share. There's a couple of pieces which I think you guys cannot miss out on. There's a couple of warnings which I think you guys should all hear. And of course, we have some preparations for the future. We have some Ethereum, Cardano, and some XRP juice. But first, the crypto market is actually quite positive today, with about 3.9 actually percent up or so on the day for the entire crypto market, that is. Bitcoin is up 3.6, Ethereum is up 3.6, BNB up 4, XRP up 3.3. And out of this whole list, there's really not that much interesting except for potentially UST, which is down about 20% over the day. For the rest, these cryptos are not really moving in a very interesting fashion, just slightly upwardsly biased, which I already described to you guys before for this weekend. Now again, guys, I don't have the weekly chart open for you guys right now, but I can kind of guarantee you guys that there's most likely something very interesting happening in the charts over the next couple of hours. Again, I am not your financial advisor. I'm not trying to advise you to make any certain plays here. I am saying, though, that the stock market was moving pretty peculiarly over the last couple of days, and right now we have about one more day till a very important push, as it's basically going to really show something quite negative if we do end up closing below, let's say about 30.5 or something like that, $1,000 for Bitcoin. Then again, it would be kind of miraculous if all of a sudden Bitcoin were to pump about 10% or so in a day tomorrow to end this week off in the green. So again, to focus on what's happening right now though, guys, I'm actually going to tell you guys exactly what my new plan is. So I'm actually looking for one very simple trade. Extremely simple. And I'm going to be waiting most likely for some confirmation. And what I'm looking for basically is to make a trade the moment we break out from this triangle. It is as simple as that. Are we going to be going long? Are we going to be going short? I'm going to tell you guys exactly about my long or short position over in Telegram, which I honestly recommend you guys to check out. But for all of you guys that do not know how the trading with leverage works, I'll give you guys a really simple explanation for what it looks like over on Margix, for example. So I have 0.15 Bitcoin in here, for example. And let's say that we want to actually go long, which is basically that we expect the price to continue to go upwards. If we, for example, break above, let's say $30,000, we actually have to go to limit right here. So the difference between limit and market is right now, regardless of the price, open this position so I can get my trade going. Limit is, well, I want to buy it, but only at a certain point. This limit price right here is exactly what we have to adjust to basically go and follow our, I guess, set of rules to make it easy. Here's, for example, the example, I guess. Let's say we wanted to open a trade, but only if the price is at 30,000.1 or less. This will basically just buy it right now because the price is lower than that, but it will not buy it anymore if the price actually goes above 30.1 thousand. So in this case here, since the price is lower, I think it will be easier to give a short as an example because it'll work the exact opposite way, because that will basically allow us to sell instead of basically buy. Again, short being you think prices are going to be going down, long being you think prices are going to go up. And let's say, for example, that we put in, we're going to short at 30.1 thousand with 0. I guess our exact amount of Bitcoin here, right, that we had. But actually, it's not really that much because we're only using a part of our portfolio with some leverage. If we were to now press sell, check out what happened. What would happen? Yes, indeed, nothing. It's a active order right here, but that's about it. Nothing has been filled because the price hasn't hit that level. Just to quickly give you guys an example though. So again, what we're going to be doing, or at least what I'm going to be doing, is waiting for the moment that we drop below. Wait a minute, this is actually the entire altcoin market cap. We need to look at the Bitcoin. The altcoin market cap is a little bit of a different story, but they're quite coincidental and they look quite alike. We're going to wait for Bitcoin to basically fall below right here, about 29.1 thousand or so, or to move above, let's say $30.2 thousand or so. And then I'd basically wager that off against our previous little channel and see how positive or negative it looks, because that depends a little bit on what the move is looking like. You can see here, we've had a lot of these fake outs, so if Bitcoin goes toward 30.3 or so, it is not necessarily a juicy trade just because it broke out once. You can see that depending on how you draw this little triangle here, this was actually a little bit of an outlier, this little pump and dump situation. You will have that pretty often in trading, and so you usually wait for some confirmation. That basically means you get one candle that goes out, and then this second one to confirm. But again, guys, to quickly say why I like Margex for this type of stuff, you guys already know. Sometimes it is just that I'm not necessarily sure what crypto I'm going to trade. As I was saying, I'm also looking at the altcoin market cap right now to actually go for a couple of different trades all at once to open up a lot of positions to hopefully get some diversification going. And the nice thing about Margex is that you can actually use all your different balances to trade different things. So I can use my Bitcoin balance, for example, to actually trade Litecoin or to trade EOS or whatever. All these different cryptos you can trade with the balance that you have in there. So theoretically speaking, I could deposit some whatever crypto, some DAI, and trade XRP with that, or some Bitcoin, and I could trade XRP with that. So again, I can now say, okay, I think the XRP price is going to go up or down, utilizing my Bitcoin balance, which no other exchange that I know of has. And that's pretty freaking cool. But let's go on a little bit with our story. Here's, for example, a very interesting video. Take a look at this.
I think we'll see, actually, depending on what side of things you're on, you might like this or not like this. I think we'll see very limited legislative action and probably very limited interagency coordinated guidance. If we have it anywhere, I think it'll be in the areas of custody and stablecoin. And I would add, if you want clarity, I would tell you to push those areas because they're the most likely to succeed and move on from there.
So in a lot of ways, this is already a very strange speech, partially because he's saying those are most likely to succeed. And also, if you want clarity, I mean, one thing we gotta put down here real quick is I thought that the SEC made it clear that things are already pretty clear. Even Anders is putting it like this: suing XRP was likely a gift in disguise, no matter the underlying motive and what exactly they were thinking. The way I keep perceiving it, I just don't fully understand exactly why they thought this was a good idea, or why there's so many contradictions, so many potential conflicts of interest. And so it's like, why go on this goose hunt as SEC being, right? Where you're opening up yourself to so many different troubles. Why go through it? Why not just sue a very easy crypto? Why put up this battle against Ripple when you know really well the entire Ethereum issue is also very hard? Why go for regulation through enforcement? Why say it is clear but it isn't clear? Why say it's an opinion but it's not an opinion? The SEC is really not having a good track record over the last couple of years. Again, they might do some stuff good. They really might. But for the majority of things that we're seeing, it's rather strange. And again, you guys got to understand here as well, one thing that many people don't understand is, to me, it's again mind-boggling. Watcher Guru said, just in Gemini Exchange will suspend trading for UST on May 27th. And DAI said, so XRP was too dangerous for your customers, but UST was fine? You got to remember, a lot of different exchanges actually asked the SEC. We can at least confirm that Coinbase has had discussions before. They must have, because over in 2018, the price basically pumped from XRP because we're all hoping for a Coinbase listing, basically. But they had discussions with the SEC, otherwise they probably wouldn't have listed it. They went through their own due diligence and said, hey, XP is fine. Yet, then eventually the SEC came in and said, oh, no, you better take it off or whatnot. It's like, well, but what changed in that time span then? It only became more decentralized, not more centralized or so. And if there's any problem, it's about the past. It's not about the current XRP anymore. And then I'm thinking, well, but so the way in which crypto exchanges can work right now is, no, you can list almost any coin. It's actually fine. All right. Before, you guys were really selective with it. Right now, it's basically fine. And if something ever happens, we'll come back on it and we'll see the lawsuits come in. But, you know, we don't really know exactly what crypto is good or bad. So we're just going to say it's good. And we might change our mind later and actually give you a lot of trouble if you then still keep it on. You know, it's like, what? Wait a minute. What? Because that's literally what happened to XRP. And I mean, it's not as if like the exchanges are safe for their investors all the time. I mean, the UST was a real problem, a real scam, so to speak. Not sure that was the intention, but it really basically lost people really tons of money in a literal unrecoverable way, almost. And that's not something that they're focusing on or going really crazy about, but Ripple, they are. Specifically when it comes to exchanges. It's not as if the US SEC was like, get this off exchanges now. Scamming people, it's dangerous. It's really harmful to investors potentially with Luna and UST. No, they'll wait for that one. It's not too big of a deal. But then when it comes to Ripple and XRP, oh, big trouble ahead. Take also a look at this. Found this in 2015 article about how XRP was being talked about. Now you know why they're trying to stop it. Take a look at this, all right? So let's dive in. This is a document dated back all the way since 2015. Adrian Blundell Wingnall then discussed the Ripple protocol, which is a real-time gross settlement system currency exchange, and remittance network. He compared a cross-border monetary transaction works with a bank transfer. Expatriates living in Paris may send money to Australia, or Paris may send money to Australia, which can take 2 to 4 days, and they never know what the exchange rate is going to be until the bank in Australia tells them. However, Ripple protocol transactions work very differently, and in a way more amendable to node anonymity and clarity. And when a set of new transactions arrives on the ledger, that is a proposal, the nodes go through a voting process and can start discarding invalid transactions. When they reach an 80% consensus, which would mean effectively 100% certainty, they consider the transaction as closed and correct. And this takes seconds. Ripple has a currency called XRP, and XRP is not really like Bitcoin, which has a value and can be exchanged for dollars and used for speculation. XRP is an eternal currency used within the system to prevent abuse. So they are saying in this sense here that XRP does not have value? That's interesting. Adrian Blunwell-Wigno underlined the fact that very big organizations are adopting the Ripple protocol and gave some examples. The world's largest open bank payment technology, Earthport, has joined Ripple, and online banks are beginning to use Ripple protocol as well. A German bank called Fitter is already using Ripple. Westpac and North Bank in Australia have also decided to join the network. And he also finally discussed cybercrime, which is considered to be the biggest risk facing the financial system. Private institutions and central bank payment institutions can all be subject to cyber attacks, and their backup sites would go down as well because they use the same architecture as main servers. In this regard, he argued that since Ripple is based on a completely different architecture, which is less vulnerable to this kind of cyber attack, it is useful to encourage the Ripple type system. And I actually like this little response from Breaking the Law, nice name, but he said the person who wrote this truly understands the design of the XRP ledger. It's a decentralized exchange, and XRP isn't meant to be a currency used by everyday people for everyday transactions. It's meant to be the backbone of the entire financial network. And this is something I don't share with you guys too often, but it's honestly one thing I do think about very often, and that is mostly regarding the fact that XRP is not meant to be a Shiba Inu type of coin that's just a joke, that's just meant to be around there for a little while to make people money or anything like that. I mean, we talked before about how higher valuations of XRP would help out the system for making things quote-unquote easier, but they're not a necessity. It's about the actual use of it, why it would have to be used and where it's going to be, that I think ultimately will also add value to it, which will ultimately basically increase the price. But that's, at the end of the day, purely because of the value which it brings. The source for this, by the way, is the OECD.org official documents, public display document. It says from 2015, but here it says 23rd of September 2016. It's officially, funny enough, an unclassified document from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. And the part we just read is on page 9 right here, which again is very interesting. There's actually one more part. Adrian was also emphasizing that for him, the true way to think about the size of Bitcoin and Ripple is to consider the size of the payment system business, i.e., the revenue and profits of the correspondent business. He added that McKinsey & Co. is forecasting that by 2019, the payment system's revenue will be $2.3 trillion, which is quite a lot of money that the banks, the credit card companies, etc. would not like to give up. Encouraging the distributed ledger technology, as opposed to Bitcoin, is important and has already started. Just wanted to let that flow in for a little second. Alright, I'm not going to actually hold you guys for too long anymore, as this video has already been on for a little while, but let me quickly go through some stuff. Lagarde from the ECB has basically said recently, very recently, that cryptos are worth nothing and should be regulated. Then again, they're not really a big threat. But it's mostly because the digital euro is coming and will actually be a safer store of value. Comments come amid turbulent times for crypto markets, and obviously this was going to happen. G7 meeting, massive amounts of fear, UST collapsed, a lot of people lost money. It's funny how Bill Gates is on the exact same front. I'm not exactly sure how I want to call this video. I could definitely give it like a warning type of vibe. I could give it a XRP utility 2.7 or 2.3 trillion type of vibe. Because Bill Gates is basically saying, steer clear of these little rackety things, right? Currently, the fourth richest person enrolled has claimed he doesn't see any value in crypto investments and has advised others to steer clear of them. I like investing in things that have valuable output, he explained. The value of companies is based on how they make great products. The value of crypto is just what some other person decides someone else will pay for it, not adding to society like other investments. Which is why I sometimes come back to this thinking, has this guy really only looked at the surface of crypto? Because again, take a look at what we just referred to regarding XRP. You can't tell me there's nothing of value inside of the system which they're trying to build or make. It goes a lot deeper than that, and they see it really shallow. This is something I'll talk about a little bit later, but the US House introduces a bill to allow Bitcoin into 401k plans. Just know that regardless of what billionaires or what individuals are going against the grain regarding crypto, just know eventually they'll all be overthrown because crypto is here to stay, if you ask me. Vitalik Buterin just explained what to expect after the merge. Just know there's two really important things coming up. One for Cardano, a very important hard fork coming up in June, the Vasil hard fork. Well, it's going to start in June, hopefully. We'll see how that one goes, but it's coming up rather shortly, a very big update for Cardano that I already addressed to you guys before. And then supposedly, there's the very big merge coming up, or at least one of the parts, because again, you never know with Ethereum, but very important upgrade for Ethereum coming up this summer as well, over in August. Again, we'll have to take this with a grain of salt, because this most likely has been going on for a little while. Then again, this stuff we'll cover a little bit later. Just want to get this information out to you all. The near future is looking pretty exciting for those. The longer future is looking pretty exciting for crypto as well. And again, we are on the short term looking for a juicy crypto trade. We have ourselves a nice little setup. And so the moment we get some confirmation towards either side, we are most likely going to be taking a nice juicy trade. That's it for today. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. And I'll see you later. If you press that like button and subscribe to the channel, it would be pretty cool. But do what you please.